The legal tampering period expected to start next Monday, there's a lot of news starting to trickle out, especially around the San Francisco 49ers and the future of some key players like Talanoa Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw, and Javon Hargrave. We'll get to all three of them on this video, but let's start with Talanoa Hufanga. So Adam Schefter went on to his podcast. He talked about all three, and shout out to Coach Yak for pulling some quotes from his podcast. So this is effectively what Adam Schefter had said about Talanoa Hufanga. He's basically talking about the San Francisco 49ers and talent they are going to be losing in free agency. He says Talanoa Hufanga is going to be gone. After kind of poking around at the Super Bowl Radio Row, this is kind of the conclusion that I also came to after talking to a few people. Also, a name that I heard to keep an eye out for, the Denver Broncos, who could be very interested in Talanoa Hufanga's services to pair him up with Pat Surtain, the Defensive Player of the Year. So there's a potential he could land there. But I think the writing has been on the wall. We have the fact that we hadn't heard anything about Talanoa, about a potential deal or anything. I think it was pretty clear that not only were they going to let Talanoa Hufanga test the open market, but they were going to allow him to walk in the open market. Also, on top of that, we had some news that I don't think 49er fans, again, are going to love. I've been doing my best to try to brace the fan base, or at least you guys who watch this channel for this as best I can. Adam Schefter goes on to say, I think Dre Greenlaw is going to be gone. So, as I had mentioned, I think it was almost a month ago, I said that I expect Dre Greenlaw to leave in free agency. I had kind of discussed that yesterday, basically citing that from what I've heard, it's not a monetary issue. It's more so an issue about being the LB1. He wants to lead a room. He wants a green dot. He wants the opportunity to have the Fred Warner role. The problem with that and staying with the San Francisco 49ers is you can't have the Fred Warner role when Fred Warner is on the roster. So I don't think it's anything personal against Fred or anything like that, or the San Francisco 49ers. I think he just wants his own opportunity. And even if the 49ers presented him with a kind of prove it deal, I still think he would take a prove it deal from someone else who can give him the opportunity to be the starting middle linebacker. So it's an unfortunate situation. Dre Greenlaw, I think, is one of the big fan favorites right now. And I haven't talked to really anyone who said that they wished he would not be here. So I do expect a lot of fans to be bummed out by this. But it is kind of what we have been hearing, and it continues to come out more and more and more. And I think it would be smart to brace for a future without Dre Greenlaw. And how will the 49ers replace him? Do they look towards free agency? Do they look towards the draft? Those are things that are all going to be fascinating to see with free agency about to kick off. Also, just some notes about Javon Hargrave. He is expected to be fully healthy, and he will be slated as a post-June 1st release by the San Francisco 49ers after coming off the tricep injury. He will be available to sign on March 12th. And a reminder, legal tampering window opens on March 10th. 12th is the official start to the new league year. So I do know that the 49ers are trying to trade Javon Hargrave. I don't think anyone would want to take on his contract, even if it was for like a 7th round draft pick. So I assume they're going to have to cut bait and take on take on the cap ramifications from that situation and move on. So we we will we will see. But again, unfortunately, I know not the positive update that probably many of you were hoping for. I know, I personally am a big fan of Talanoa Hufanga. I know the fan base is kind of indifferent. Depending, some people love him, some people are fine with him letting him walk. I'm personally a fan of his, a believer of his. I think he's a great player. I know he's been dealing with injuries that have been really tough, but I wish Huff nothing but the best. I wish Dre nothing but the best. Hargrave, everyone who's moving on. It's just, I think, emblematic of the time that the San Francisco 49ers are in. They're going through a lot of changes this offseason. And I think there's two ways to approach that. I think change can be scary for some fans. I think fans can see players that they have come to know and love move on, and it feels daunting. But I also do think that there is a element where it is also exciting, because that means there's going to be new talent coming in. There's going to be new opportunities. There's going to be potential rookies who can fill these roles. And who knows, maybe the next Dre Greenlaw's in the draft. Maybe the next Talanoa Hufanga is going to get drafted. Just like we saw with Malik Mustafa. Malik Mustafa turned out to be a phenomenal player. And so it feels daunting now, but you don't know who's going to come through those doors and contribute to hopefully helping the San Francisco 49ers steer their course, get back on track, and go for a Super Bowl. That's really, like, if we're going to be honest, that's what the goal is, especially with the Super Bowl coming to Levi Stadium. So that is the hope, that is the dream, I should say, for most 49er fans. But to get us kind of primed and ready for free agency that is about to begin, it is clear that changes are coming for the San Francisco 49ers and a lot of the players. So I don't know. I think I've heard fans talk about how they thought that this was going to be like a low-key off season. The reason why I laugh is because I unfortunately have done this enough times to know that this wasn't going to be a low-key offseason, especially with the Brock Purdy contract. I think it's kind of starting to come to light, like, okay, this might be a difficult negotiation and not an easy one like everyone just assumed it would be. So that we'll see. We will see what ultimately happens with all of this, but buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride, and make sure you're tapped into the channel. We'll bring all the news and information to you, even rumors, even stuff that's just kind of floating out there, just to talk about it, even if it isn't true. Sometimes some of those things offer good conversation and an opportunity to discuss certain things. So make sure you got post notifications on, especially with all the news that's about to break. And make sure you're sub to the channel, like and subscribe for more updates.